guys? Welcome back to the Training Camp Podcast.
The Training Camp Podcast.
I got a new chair.
With a multitude of guests.
Can't say he's wrong, am I right?
Oh, yeah. Dolphins.
No, I really like.
Stupid games.
5-0 last week. That's right. 5-0. Dak Prescott. You could lock up that 4 seed.
Again, it's not blazing hot, 65 degrees. I'm going to do this for fun.
They threw to Michael Thomas. The Heat. How? Chicago. Yes, you guys get an F.
And a little too much personality.
No.
Last week.
No, Ravens?
Oh, fuck. Give me that.
No way. There's no way. Hammering. Free. Really, do not talk about him.
This one's my fault.
Flex the game.
Here we go.
What's poppin', guys? Welcome back to the Training Camp Podcast. We're coming up on episode 50. Is this episode 50? This actually might be episode. I don't know why I'm being so quiet. This actually might be episode 50. Let's take a no, not even close. Episode 44. Hey, how we doing today? Yes, as you guys can tell, I'm still sticking with some of the changes. Obviously, last week I talked about how I want to do some changes, and I do kind of like not having the big setup. When it's just me, I think the big setup is really good for when I have guests, because then obviously I can look at them and talk to them, and it's just easier that way. I just feel like it might have been a little too much when it was just me, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We actually had a lot of news this week, so we're just going to hop straight into news of the week. Number one, yeah, this was literally the biggest news. Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans is probably going to be moved. The biggest names so far are Miami, obviously, but then there's also rumors of a possible 3-team trade involving Washington, which would send Tua to Washington, Deshaun to Miami, and who the fuck knows what to Houston. What does this tell me? One, Miami is not confident in Tua, even if like the Washington rumors aren't true. The fact that these are coming out, it obviously means that Miami's not confident in Tua, which really sucks for Tua. He started 6 games, and I think just because he hasn't had Justin Herbert-like production that they're considering him a bust. But I mean, if he was a quarterback drafted with this year's draft class, he would be just like everybody else. So I think Tua's getting the shit out of the stick here. I think it tells me that Houston might have some confidence in Davis Mills, or if not, they have confidence in their drafting. But I mean, also Houston's been rumored to be selling literally everything. They tried to sell Whitney Mercilus. I don't know how to pronounce his name. And then also they're rumored to be possibly selling Brandon Cooks. So it's and they also were rumored to be selling some of their secondary players. So they're just trying to get as much draft capital as they can to basically reset the franchise right now. And then if the Washington rumors are true, it means that they don't have confidence in Heineke. They do have confidence in Tua. And they're probably a little bit worried about Fitzmagic in the next 2 years, but saw what he could do with Tua in Miami, and probably feel like it's a better situation for them, and then that can help him grow. So I mean, if Deshaun gets traded, in my eyes, what that means is Houston knows something that we don't. We, as in just the general public, and it probably means that that Deshaun's gonna play if he gets traded, because Miami is not going to give up a lot of capital for a player that's not going to play for a season for them. So what that is probably telling to me is that Deshaun is going to get a settlement done with the whole legal issue he's dealing with right now. And that means that there's probably not going to be disciplinary actions taken by the league. So yeah, I mean, we don't have, this is all basically speculation and rumors because we don't know what's for sure and what's not for sure. This is all just coming out today. So yeah, that's the biggest thing from this week. Number 2 is sticking with the NFL real quick. The Browns, who play Thursday night, obviously this goes up Thursday afternoon, so who knows what updates come out. Have literally everybody out. Baker's gonna be out. Kareem Hunt's gonna be out. Chubb's gonna be out. Odell's possibly gonna be out. So it's Denver, so they could still win this game. Case Keenum is probably one of the best backups you could want. I mean, he was literally a starting quarterback for an entire season and almost got his team to a Super Bowl. So he's definitely reliable. And that defense, yeah, it's not been good, but I mean, there's not another pass which I would want to have. So is this game winnable? For Cleveland, yes, I think it is. Is this game winnable more for, like, is it more winnable for Denver right now than it was before? Yes, as well. Ben Simmons, he's lost his mind? Has Ben Simmons lost his mind? Because it sure as hell seems that way. Yeah, if you miss it, first of all, he was kicked out of practice, and then he was suspended. Not by the league, by the team. I don't understand what Ben Simmons' problem is, because you kind of did this to yourself. Something that I tweeted over the summer was I would rather have Lonzo Ball than Ben Simmons for the rest of, like, a franchise, like for the rest of their careers. And I'm going to stick by that, because one thing we've seen from Lonzo's a great defender. I'm not going to say he's as good of a defender as Ben Simmons, but I do think that Lonzo has NBA defensive first team, like, that's his, like, I think he could reach that as a ceiling. And also, like, Lonzo's gotten better offensively. Lonzo did not have a good three-point shot coming into the league. He was mainly a ball distributor and a floor manager who occasionally would shoot a three, but really just try to get up to close to the rim because of his height. And now he's hitting three-pointers and mid-range shots at a rate that is like, what, 2 or 3 times is more efficient than his rookie season, because he's adapting his game. And the reason I'm talking about this is because Ben Simmons just hasn't done that at all. He refuses. Every offseason we get 1 or 2 videos that surface of him shooting and making a three-pointer, but, like, he never does it in the season. So, Ben Simmons, you did this to yourself. I don't want to hear you crying about how Philadelphia gave up on you. You have not put in the work. You honestly could have been one of the best players in the league if you would have just worked on, like, your jump shot, but you refused to because you're stubborn. And honestly, if you're being a jackass in practice, then you're just making your own situation worse, because it's just going to make it harder to ship you out. If you don't want to be there, just don't talk. Do what James Harden did. Don't go to practice, go to the games, play well, keep your draft value, or keep your trade value, and then you'll get traded for something. It's going to be harder to trade for you because Philadelphia doesn't want to get fleeced, because they know they're going to. Philadelphia knows that if you keep acting like a jackass and a piece of garbage right now towards their organization, then you're not going to have any value, and they're not going to want to trade you because they know that you're actually a good player. So you're just keeping yourself longer. You're just keeping yourself there longer, Ben. So quit being such a jackass. I mean, I'm sure a part of this is, like, things his agency is telling him and his agent are telling him, but at the same time, you also have to have some self-realization and some self-discipline about the situation, or self-awareness about the situation, and just be like, oh, you know what? I'm probably not making this better by being a total dick. Let's stick with the NBA. It's with tip-off. And after you guys, this goes up day 2 of the NBA as well. It's nice to have the NBA back. I'd like to say the tip-off games, like for game 1, like night 1, were great. But I mean, the Bucks blew out the Nets, who didn't have Kyrie. The Lakers Golden State game was good, even though, like, there were players that we were expecting to ball out that didn't. I mean, obviously, Braun and AD did their thing, but I mean, like, Westbrook had, like, what, 8 points and 5 rebounds and 4 assists, or 4 assists and 5 rebounds. And then Steph, who had like 21, 10, and 10, I think, but he just didn't shoot well. But it was still a good game. Like, down the stretch, it was a close game. A lot of fun offenses to watch, but there's not enough takeaways for me just because the Bucks lost Jrue Holiday, so that's going to be a completely new team. The Nets didn't have Kyrie, so I can't really judge them too much. The Warriors are still without Klay Thompson, and the Lakers, I'm going to give them a month or like 6 to 8 weeks to mesh because it's a brand new team. So, but it's really nice to have NBA games on in the background again. I'm going to take a sip out of my coffee real quick. While we take a quick little, it's like 10 second, like a 5-second break. But yeah, so I'm not going to feature too much NBA stuff on this because I know you guys don't really enjoy that, but I will still talk like the bigger headlines for the NBA, so expect that. Back to the NFL, Trey Lance is unlikely to play this week due to an injury. It kind of sucks because I think Seattle was a great test for Trey Lance because it's a bad defense, and he only played half of a game, and he did great. And then the following week, he did not do as great. But I think, was it the Cardinals that they played, which is a good defense? I'm sounding like an idiot if I'm wrong. But this week they play the Colts, which is like a defense that is good. It's a middle tier defense in my opinion, just because of like injuries and how their season's kind of swung so far. I think it would have been a really good test for Trey Lance and a really good test for the Niners to see like how they feel about him the rest of the season, to see if they want to roll him out. I still think he has Rookie of the Year capability just because of how good of an offensive scheme and coach Shanahan is. But we'll see what happens. I think I'm worried that Trey Lance is going to have what happens to every other player in San Francisco happen to him, which is injuries, because San Francisco and Philadelphia love the injury bug. Seattle is talking to Cam Newton right now. I don't think this is going to go anywhere because it sounds like Russell Wilson wants to get back within at least 3 weeks for a 5-week recovery injury, but he wants to come back a little earlier, so I think that really doesn't mean that much. I think they're just going to roll with Geno Smith for right now. It's better than paying a quarterback for 2 games. It's not like Russ is on like an ACL injury or like a throwing, like a motion injury. It's just a finger, so it's not going to affect him like in the long run. It's not going to linger. It's nothing that's can like be re-aggravated and throw him out. So I wouldn't worry about that too much if you're a Seattle fan. Not like worry, but I wouldn't like feel like it's a huge thing that's going to happen. I don't think Cam Newton will probably remain unsigned for the rest of the year if I had to guess, because there's really no teams that need him. And then, is that everything? That's everything. How about that? News of the week. That was fun. Done in like, what, 10 minutes? That was a good time. We sped through news of the week a little bit because we have something special at the end. If you look on the little time code at like the little bottom of the screen, you can see what it is. Let's hop into Wall winners, though. Last week, how many weeks in a row have I gone 3-2? This is like 3 weeks in a row I've gone 3-2. Overall on the year, though, I'm 18-12, so that's great. I think this time last year I was doing horrible. I'm actually curious. What week are we in? 7? How was I doing week 7 of last year? So it's been like October. So, that's November. Too far. Hold on. Give me a second. This is really entertaining podcast stuff, you guys. October 30th. Ooh, we're almost there. Oh God, it took so many. I used to take so many notes. So, we had Nick on a year ago. That's wild. So last year, I was 10-15 overall. How about that? 9-4-11 on the spread and 1-4 on upsets. And right now I'm 18-12 overall, 15-9 on spreads, and 3-3 in upsets. How about that? I will drink to that. I'm also drinking because this is caffeinated, and I'm somehow tired at 8:30 at night. Yes, the podcast also got recorded a little bit late today, but hey, it is what it is. You're still getting a podcast. Don't complain. Not much to recap from last week, honestly. My spreads hit pretty well. It's just sometimes you don't get the right pennies fall in your direction. Jacksonville was able to cover against Miami. Cincinnati covered against Detroit. Arizona covered against Cleveland, and then Pittsburgh was the only spread that did not cover. The spread was 4.5, and they only covered by 3. And the Chargers definitely did not pull off the upset of the week. Who do I have this week? Oh, it's great. Also, what it is a new graphic on the Instagram. So if you guys can go check that out, you guys can check that out. So, wallet winner number 1, Atlanta's going to Miami only as a 1.5 point favorite, especially with now Tua's also not listed as the starting quarterback on Miami's roster right now. So that's also another thing. With all this dysfunction, especially too, like Atlanta should just easily walk past this Miami team. Miami's going to be one of the 3 teams that's going to be in the top 3 of the draft this next upcoming year. Their defense somehow took a step back, which is wild because it's such a good defense last year. Myles Gaskins, I don't know if it's just how they're running the offense, but he's not as efficient as he was last year. They have injuries to the wide receivers. It's just all falling apart for Miami. So, I mean, I think for an Atlanta team that's getting Calvin Ridley back, an Atlanta team that really found their stride with Kyle Pitts last week, and they're using Cordell Patterson a certain way, and they also have Mike Davis and a veteran quarterback in Matt Ryan. Like, I think this is going to be a fine game. Also, weather won't be an issue because it's in Miami, so it'll be warm. Dome teams usually don't perform too well when it comes to like cold weather, but you're back in warm weather, so it'll be nice. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Atlanta wins 24-16. Carolina's going to New York. New York is also like another team. So Carolina's -3. I'm going to take -3. New York is another team kind of like Miami where they're just devastated by injuries, especially to the wide receiver core. I mean, Kadarius Toney was looking great. Now he's going to be out. Kenny Galladay's questionable for the game. It's literally going to be Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, and Kyle Rudolph, and that's it. Like, Saquon's not going to play. Even Daniel Jones is listed as questionable. He'll still play, but he's listed as questionable. So, I mean, Carolina, is just a better team. Defensively, they're better. Offensively, they're better. Coaching-wise, they're better. So I'm just going to take the better team here. Also, I do like Carolina still. I know they're on a 3-game skid. But, I mean, which 3 games did they win? Oh, the 3 games that they had Christian McCaffrey. Which 3 games did they lose? Oh, the 3 games they didn't have Christian McCaffrey. So I think that they're just kind of have to find how they want to adjust to life without Christian McCaffrey, because it sounds like it's going to be a couple more weeks with that, which sucks. Because I have him in fantasy this year. Austin could have had Dalvin for C-Mac straight up, but he told me Dalvin was an injury liability, which is true. But C-Mac's been worse, so there we have that. Cincinnati's going to Baltimore. Damn, this is the week of the away teams. Cincinnati's going to Baltimore, almost a touchdown underdog, 6.5 points. I don't know, man. I still can't get a read on Cincinnati. I think their defense is actually pretty good. I'm not saying top 10, but like maybe top 15. I think having Jamar Chase is great for them offensively. Their O-line has actually been really stepping it up. They're really showing us that maybe they didn't need Panay in this draft, or any offensive lineman for that matter. T. Higgins has been kind of banged up, but he's getting healthier and healthier, so they're going to have him as another weapon. Joe Mixon's coming back. He's probably now like 95%. Joe Burrow's hitting his stride. And then like Baltimore, yeah, Baltimore's been really, really good. I mean, Lamar's passing the ball, and that's the formula for success when it comes to Baltimore, is you have to pass the ball with Lamar, because teams aren't going to expect it. If a team gets beat by the air by Lamar, you're going to get beat. And but I still do have questions on the offense because of injuries and because of meshing wise. I mean, like Rashad Bateman coming back, so like how are they going to incorporate him and Hollywood Jones as well as Mark Andrews? Also, they still don't have an established running back other than Lamar. Haha, joke. And their defense, though good, still is lacking due to injury. So I don't know what I can really evaluate here. I just think a touchdown's too much. I still think Baltimore wins this game, but I just think Cincinnati's going to keep it close, 27-31. I am falling asleep. This is wild. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm falling asleep. 2 more Walt winners and then 1 more segment. Ooh. Jets go to New England. I'm not going to spend that much time on this. New England's a touchdown point favorite. Yeah, Bill Belichick loves rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson has not been set up for success this year, not because of him, but because of the situation he's in. Mac Jones is getting better and better. He's literally looking like a veteran somehow. New York can't defend the pass or the run, so, I mean, New England can do whatever they want in that realm. And New England's defense is just fantastic. So a touchdown is way too little of a spread for me, just with how bad of a team New York is. I honestly don't think that New York puts up more than 10 points, as New England wins 21-10. Now, upset of the week. Jesus, can I wake up? Caffeine doesn't hit me like right away like most people. Apparently, like for most people, caffeine, once they like just drink it, digest it, it hits them so fast. It doesn't for me somehow. Yikes. Upset of the week. Indianapolis goes to San Francisco. San Francisco has a lot of question marks right now. Is George Kittle going to play? Who's going to be the running back this week? Is Jimmy Garoppolo for sure going to be the starter? Also, like, have they figured out the wide receiver core besides Debo? Like, are they going to use Ayuk? They have like so many players that are hurt. It's such a problem. Their defense is good but inconsistent. Like, how do you give up 32 points to Detroit in week 1 and then only 17 to the Cardinals? So it's like so weird. And I think Indianapolis is kind of trying to hit stride here. They're using Jonathan Taylor the right way. They're starting to figure out that they have a good wide receiver core, and it's not just because T.Y. is not there, but like there's actual talent there within like Michael Pittman, Zach Pascal, Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle. They have a good offensive line. Their defense is good. This is why I was talking about Trey Lance starting this game, because it'd be a really good test for him. They have a good defense. It's just not. It's kind of like I was saying about Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati and Indianapolis' defenses are in a really similar tier right now due to injuries to Indianapolis' defense. But yeah, I just think out of all the spreads I saw this week, I think Indianapolis could definitely pull off an upset. I mean, I think the spread was pretty small too. I mean, with the odds only being plus 166, that doesn't surprise me if the odds are pretty small. But yeah, I like Indianapolis a lot in this game. And primetime games, is this primetime game? Yeah, primetime games haven't let us down yet, so I think this one follows suit. And Indianapolis upsets the Niners 27-24 in San Francisco. Okay, now, before I somehow fall asleep, which I actually don't know how that's possible, I'm bringing back But I Mean. if you're new here, but I mean, it's essentially like the hot take, where it's like, I say something that's obvious, and I'm like, but I mean, why not this? You'll catch on. I do 3 of them. All 3 today, I believe, are NFLs. Yeah. All right. Number 1. I know the AFC North is stacked, but I mean, why can't the Bengals win the division? I was talking about them earlier. I mean, with all the uncertainties like Cleveland's facing, with how inconsistent the Pittsburgh Steelers have been, and with the shoe that is bound to drop for Baltimore, I think Cincinnati could take over. I don't know how Cincinnati's doing this, but I mean, look at them. They've been in every single game. They put up a fight against a really good Green Bay team. They ran all over a Detroit team last week that has been giving every team fits this year. They already have a division win against Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I think that this is definitely a possibility, especially because of the injuries Cleveland has sustained. I think Cincinnati could even possibly be like a lock for the second best team in this division. But I think there's a way where Cincinnati goes like 10-7 or 11-6, and Baltimore just has one less win than them, and Cincinnati's able to take the division. But I mean, number 2, we're gonna stay in the AFC North. I know that they have a first overall quarterback behind the line of scrimmage, but I mean, why can't the Browns succeed with Case Keenum? Like I was talking about earlier, I didn't dive too much into it because I knew that this was coming up, but Case Keenum's such a good backup, and he led that Minnesota team to an NFC championship that they almost won, or was a divisional, but either way, they almost won it. They were a Hail Mary, a Hail Mary away from not getting that far, but at the same time, they put up a really good fight. It was the NFC championship game against the Rams. The Rams? Who'd they play? It was a really good game. And that entire season, Case Keenum played a good season. Like, he reminded me of Kirk Cousins a lot. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. He's played in the league a long time, so he's not going to do anything boneheaded. And if he is, it's just rust from not playing. And I made this joke in my fantasy football chat. I was like, it would not surprise me. It was kind of a joke, but kind of not. It would not surprise me if Odell goes off for like 175 and 2 touchdowns because some reason there's a narrative that Baker hates Odell. But who knows? Once Chubb gets back and all that stuff, like I think if Baker does miss a significant amount of time, I think Case Keenum could be a really good backup that keeps them above 500. Lastly, Jesus, I'm falling asleep. This is perfect timing. Good coffee. I know it seems like the NFL's given up on this guy. But, I mean, why can't Tua succeed in Washington if he gets traded there? I think Washington is actually such a good place for Tua to land. I mean, Houston's a very similar spot as Miami where, like, there's just not a lot going for him there. Kind of same for Deshaun. Like, there's not much going for him in Miami that there is in Houston. But, like, Washington for Tua, if I'm Washington, I want Deshaun more than I want Tua. But, well, from any team, I want Deshaun more than I want Tua. But, no, Washington has a good running back in Antonio Gibson. They have a good backup in J.D. McKissick, who's also a pass-catching back, so if you need a last-minute dump-off, you can go there. They have a good tight end, Logan Thomas. They have a good great wide receiver in Terry McLaurin. If healthy, they have a great wide receiver, too, in Curtis Samuel. I don't know what's going on with their defense, but their offensive line has been great. I think Tua could be in the better position if he goes to Washington, and I think it could be better for Tua's career. It just sucks because the NFL is kind of treating him like Josh Rosen 2.0, where they're just giving up on him. I mean, he's only been given limited opportunities to start and prove himself, and there have been sparks, but I think the Dolphins are expecting fire when they're only seeing sparks right now. So it's just super unfair to Tua, man. Anyways, I'm not going to dance around this too much, like the outro and everything, because I am literally exhausted, which is funny because when I started this, I had a lot of energy, so I don't know where this exhaustion is coming from. But, yeah, expect a new No Money Spent video out sometime this week. Also, please go check out the Instagram. It's been popping off lately. I posted a reel today. It's a new series I'm doing on Instagram where I let Instagram, a little filter, draft my DraftKings lineup. It's actually a lot of fun. It's been getting a lot of love, so make sure you guys go and check that out. But other than that, I'm going to leave this episode of the podcast here. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.